Hello, I'm David Frazier, the President and Chief Market Strategist of IntegrativeInvesting.com. I'm recording this special video on Thursday, September 13th at around 6:30 in the evening in response to the Federal Reserve's announcement earlier today that it's going to implement a new round of quantitative easing in an effort to bring down the unemployment rate. Specifically, the Federal Reserve announced today that it's going to begin purchasing mortgage-backed securities at a pace of $40 billion per month, and that it's going to reinvest principal payments from its holdings, from its current holdings of mortgage-backed securities. Those actions, the Fed said, are expected to increase the Fed's holdings of mortgage-backed securities by approximately $85 billion each month through the end of this year. Now, what were the reasons that the Fed gave for implementing this new round of quantitative easing? Well, the Fed said specifically that it expects this new round of quantitative easing to put downward pressure on longer-term interest rates and to support mortgage markets. Gee, let's think about that for a moment. That this massive purchase of mortgage-backed securities is going to put downward pressure on longer-term interest rates and on mortgage rates. Well, of course it's going to do that. But the question is so what? Is it going to do any good in stimulating home purchases, in bringing down the unemployment rate, in increasing the growth rate of the U.S. economy? The answer is no. It's not going to do any good because the unemployment rate is at such a high level, and number two, there's such a large percentage of Americans that are underwater in their mortgages, that is, that they owe substantially more money on the homes in which they live than those homes are worth, that if mortgage rates are lowered further, first of all, most of these people are not even in a position to refinance the home in which they live. Secondly, because of the high unemployment rate, many Americans are not in a position to buy a home, regardless of how low interest rates are. This is going to accomplish nothing except potentially lead to substantial increases in inflation rates. Now, the Fed went on to say that, quote, if the outlook for the labor market does not improve substantially, that it will undertake additional purchases of mortgage-backed securities. I don't even know what that means. I mean, let's think about it for a moment. If the outlook for the labor market does not improve, they did not say if the labor market improves, they just said if the outlook. Well, what is the outlook? I don't even know what that means, as if there is one particular outlook. Aren't there many outlooks? Don't different people have outlooks? And why is that even relevant? Who cares about the outlook? Shouldn't we be trying to improve the employment situation rather than the outlook for the employment situation? That statement doesn't even mean anything. So I presume what the Fed really meant is that if the employment situation does not improve, that it will continue to make even more purchases, an additional level of purchases of mortgage-backed securities. Well, I find that very interesting because Ben Bernanke said regarding those statements in the Federal Reserve's press release on its new round of quantitative easing, the Fed's said that, Ben Bernanke said, that is the Federal Reserve Chairman, point one, the new round of quantitative easing is being implemented to try to bring down the unemployment rate. That is specifically what the Federal Reserve Chairman said. But he then went on to say, we, quote, we, that is the Federal Reserve, we don't have tools that are strong enough to solve the unemployment problem. So why are they doing this? I mean, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, Bernanke also said that he thinks the additional purchases will have an impact on the economy. Well, I'm sure they will have some kind of impact, but does that really matter? The question is, what kind of impact will it have? And most importantly, is it likely to have a positive impact? And my answer is, no, it's not going to have a positive impact. The only impact is likely going to be negative, and that is to potentially raise inflationary pressures. So, Ben Bernanke said one other thing that is very, very important. He said, indirectly, he said that he expects this new money printing, these new purchases of mortgage-backed securities, to raise stock prices. Number one. Secondly, that an increase in stock prices, he thinks, will make Americans feel better about their economic situation, and that those improved feelings about Americans' economic expectations will lead Americans to spend more money and therefore to increase the growth rate of the economy. Well, boy, that's an awfully big leap. I disagree with Mr. Bernanke substantially on that. Yes, stock prices might go up a bit for a certain period of time, as they did today. They rose sharply today, but I don't think it's going to last long. I think the only conclusion that I can come to, and I hate to say this, but it's just the only conclusion that I can come to, and that is that Bernanke is well aware that Mitt Romney has said that if Mitt is elected as the next U.S. president, that he's going to replace Bernanke. So maybe it could be that Bernanke is thinking, well, I'm going to get fired if Romney's elected, so let me try to get stock prices up for at least a short period of time for Americans to therefore feel a little bit better about their economic situation. Therefore, maybe Barack Obama will be reelected and I'll get to keep my job. I don't know. I hate to say these things, but this new round of quantitative easing is not going to bring down the unemployment rate. It's not going to work. And even Ben Bernanke said himself that it's not going to solve the unemployment situation. So anyway, that's all that I have to say. I suggest you think about what I've said, and if you want to learn more about my thinking, I suggest you visit my internet website at IntegrativeInvesting.com. That's IntegrativeInvesting.com. Or just do a search on David Frazier and stocks, or David Frazier and investing, and I'm sure you'll find our site. Thank you for listening. Hope you have a good day.